Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny Evenstein and I'm from Israel, and I'm very happy to have some Wiki friends today. Um, they will introduce themselves in a second to talk about a really cool new initiative, um, well, relatively new, called Wikidojo. So, guys, why don't you say hello and say who you are and where you're from?
Hello.
Vassia, you first.
Oh, okay. I suppose that the creator should be the first. Um, my name is Vassia. I'm from Bulgarian Wikipedia. I'm a Wikimedian, actually. Um, and yeah, Wikidojo was an idea I first heard from Nikola, presented already more than a year ago in Kiev during the Central and Eastern European Wikipedia meetup. Um, and we recently tested it.
Cool. Nicola?
Well, hello, I'm Nikola. I'm a Wikimedian. I've been a Wikipedian for 10 years now, almost. And I came up with the idea of the Wikidojo after I talked about our education program with Vassia and combined my work as computer scientist with my hobby as Wikipedia.
That sounds great, and I think it's time to tell everyone what is Wikidojo anyway.
So, a Wikidojo is a collaborative practice inspired by coding dojos. These are exercises for computer programmers, and there one has a group of people in a room, and one of the people is called a pilot, a second one is called a co-pilot, and all the rest are called observers. So the first one, the pilot, gets 7 minutes to start writing an article on Wikipedia. And the co-pilot is the only one allowed to talk to the pilot. Everyone else should try not to make too much fun of those two. And after 7 minutes, the pilot gets to be an observer, the co-pilot gets to be a pilot, and one of the observers gets to be a co-pilot. And this way, people switch and see what other before them have done to the article. And one can learn newbies, one can teach newbies how to create good articles. Those of us who have been alongside Wikipedia for quite some time can see how newbies react, can see how other experienced editors edit. Some of us use the visual editor, some of us are very old school, and some of us have some tools, and we can all learn to have the same writing style, because what we want is that our articles look in a quite same way, to look like as if they were written by one person, by something to be whole.
I completely hear you. Yes, we want some kind of cohesion, but I think there's also a place for diversity, which is a word people in our movement love. So, Vasya, can you tell us maybe about trying it out? How did it go? How does it work really? How does it feel?
After it was announced on the Kiev meeting of Central and Eastern Europe, it was tested, approbated during the next edition of the same event. It was in Estonia, the village of Vor. So we announced it in advance. I think that in the beginning there were not a lot of people who opted for this option, because I think that in the same time in the other room there was something more fun, playing dances or what, Nicola, if you remember. So several people opted for it a bit shyly. they um, they were like, "Oh, something new. Okay, let's give it a try." And during the course of the dojo, more and more people joined, and it was really great fun. In the beginning, well, the most important thing probably about the first edition of the first attempt of having Wikidojo in practice, it was that we as people, as a group of people, um, belong to different projects, to different language versions of Wikipedia, from the whole region of Central and Eastern Europe. So we couldn't make it in our own project because we generally speak relatively small languages, which meant that all of us had to try the Wikidojo all together in the English Wikipedia. And I think that for most of the people it was not our native project, and it was a bit challenging. It raised certain challenges because of the language, because of being in a new place, a relatively new place, with its own set of rules, how to cite sources, how to what sources are allowed. So in general, that was one of the more challenging aspects of the Wikidojo in this case. Usually, I think the Wikidojo is good to be tried in in the language version which all people are speaking or are talking, so that they feel comfortable with the language, with the atmosphere, with the templates which are in use in this language version, um, so that at least this barrier is overcome. On the other hand, we were about, let me think, about 10 people. So in this group of 10 people, there were some more experienced people, some not so experienced, and there were even some newbies. So it was really very diverse from the point of view of people's experience and how comfortable they feel with editing in general. Um, and I think that this was one of the lessons from Wikidojo, that it works well when you have people of various backgrounds with different capabilities, with different experience in wiki editing, in order to have the good experienced people showing to the more the relatively new ones how to edit and what are the good points, the good practices in editing Wikipedia.
That sounds like lots of fun, but also quite challenging, as you said. Nicola, do you want to maybe say something about um, some good practices of Wikidojos, things that you should do and shouldn't do to make it work in the best way possible?
It is important to select a topic which will be interesting for most of the participants and about which most of the participants would easily find sources on the internet, because of course you don't want to lose time with going to the library when you have 7 minutes per person. And it is important to familiarize the participants with the rules beforehand and have all the participants in the room at the beginning of the Wikidojo. Although participants coming later and not quite knowing the rules, if there is only one or two of those, can make it even more fun. And it is important to prepare the setting, to have a computer with a good keyboard. Some people like to use the mouse, some people like to use the mouse pad, some people have their own keyboard layouts. For example, my own computer has a German keyboard layout, but I use the English when writing on it. So if someone else would try to use it, that would be magnificent. And
I won't touch your computer when we meet, I promise. It's going to be too much.
so, of course, in the end, one has to get feedback from the people, and therefore we think that 10 participants with 7 minutes per participant is a good time, because afterwards, in a 1.5 hour session, one can still talk about the experience and not just be very tired and go away.
Right, so let's go through how it really works. So the pilot and the co-pilot, which are every 7 minutes, they are the active participants, and the rest are listening and basically, well, passively listening, I think, right?
Well, I think that it depends on how collaborative the audience is. In our case, in the beginning it took some time to explain to the audience that no, you're not allowed to laugh, no, you're not allowed to comment. Um, uh, you simply have to keep silence so that the pilot and co-pilot do their job and not be stressed, because what I don't think we mentioned it. It happens before an audience in front of a beamer. There is a beamer. Everything is presented. What the pilot and co-pilot are doing is presented on a big screen. So there is kind of a pressure onto the editors, the pair of editors, because they do it in front of other people. And this is not the usual way we are editing Wikipedia. We do it usually privately at home with all around. There are paper sources. We feel comfortable, and there is no such pressure like time, 7 minutes. There is no such pressure like 10 people watching it you and probably thinking about how they can do it better than you. It was, for me, it was funny that the moment when I left the pilot place, I realized that I probably didn't react the way I would react under normal circumstances. So I think that there is a pressure, but it's a very positive pressure. It makes you concentrate. It disciplines you. But the audience must be really to understand that their own turn will come, and they should be, yeah, they should behave
Observing.
yeah, but they should behave the way they would like to be treated when they are pilot and co-pilot themselves.
So just to be very clear about it, the pilot is the one who's doing the writing, and the co-pilot is telling him what to do, or he's doing what he wants, and the co-pilot is just giving suggestions. How exactly would that work?
Well, the pilot is the one who controls the keyboard and the mouse, and the co-pilot is allowed and is expected to give suggestions, but he's not allowed to touch the computer. We can demonstrate that. Let's say 3 of us make a Wikidojo now with 2 minutes each. So a very, very, very short version. So
Okay.
I'm the pilot,
Mm-hmm.
and Vassia is my co-pilot, and you are the observer.
Mm-hmm.
And now I start a screen share so that people can see what I do. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
So
Here it is.
I have created a page in my user space on English Wikipedia, and someone should do something about me keeping those
Nikola,
2 minutes.
Nicola, can you paste the link, because I guess that Shani will not be able to type it because of the Cyrillic in your name.
So
Let's make it a little bit.
let's say I'm starting to write about a skier. So Lindsay Vonn is an American here. And then I start searching for stuff. So now I have to not search on Wikipedia for her. That would be too easy.
Oh, we start with typing your
So I know it is
LNG.
to add some links at the end of the page. So external links, that would be a Facebook profile, for example. And let's say official website. This is very good. And since I have seen the official website, I can go to it and use it as a source. About Lindsay, this sounds good. Very good. No, very bad because it's very hard usable. So I'm going back. And since I have some experience writing articles about skiers, I'm going to the website of the International Ski Federation. And I'm searching for our dear Lindsay Vonn. Among the competitors. There she is. So, what do I want to know? I want to know her birth date. Born on in St. Paul. Well, yes, so. And
your 2 minutes are up.
yeah, 2 minutes are up. Now I'm saving. And Vassia is going on from here, whereby she was a very, very bad co-pilot because she didn't say a word.
Nikola, most of the time I couldn't hear you well. I was trying to keep up with the speed with which you're changing the screens. So yeah, probably I was not a very good co-pilot because we were online. I think that Wikidojo works better when we are, yeah.
And therefore I'm showing my screen now where I have put some more useful tips for organizers. Prepare the setting. Important. Our setting was badly prepared and therefore Vassia did not have the possibility to be a good co-pilot, of course.
Nikola, can you go back to your screen showing us the tips? Because
yes, indeed.
so basically,
you see it now, yeah. It's on Meta. It's the article Wikidojo. And we have the idea, the descriptions of how to do it, and some tips, to be precise.
Sounds good.
And everyone who tries it
Vassia,
put their tips there too.
Vassia, you're muted. Oh, right now you're not. Anything you wanted to add?
I just said that probably it's good to have these tips created, and probably we can do it in a Wikidojo style. We already know what Wikidojo is, so I think that we can write in Wikidojo style not only encyclopedic articles, but even help pages, and in this case, tips for having a Wikidojo.
Exactly.
I like the idea.
So basically, if to rely on the experience that we just saw, you were explaining what you're doing as you went. Is that how it went in the real Wikidojo
yes.
that you experienced? Okay. And you find that it's helpful to speak aloud your thoughts and say what it is that you're doing, and then the co-pilot hopefully has suggestions and tells you do this, don't do this, etc., etc., etc.
Yes, indeed, because there are following possibilities. There are two experienced people there, one experienced pilot and one experienced co-pilot. So the experienced co-pilot would see what the other experienced person is doing and would think at some point of time, well, I didn't know that tool, I didn't know that sources could be taken from there, I didn't know that people start by putting the categories first or whatever. And would also ask questions like, but why wouldn't you put your sources after you finish your paragraph, but put them after you finish the whole article? Isn't it harder for you? So there is discussion between people who are experienced, and in the other case, there is one experienced and one inexperienced. So if the pilot is inexperienced and the co-pilot is experienced, then the co-pilot will see how newbies react, will learn that biting newbies is not quite a good idea, and the newbie would also get hand-on tips because someone would show them, here, just go to that place, click there, do that. And normally the newbies would get something on their discussion page, and it would not give them the possibility to react instantly, to get instant feedback on what they are doing. And in the third case, where the newbie is the co-pilot and the pilot is experienced, the newbie would ask every now and then, why are you doing that? And the pilot would be able to explain, and the newbie would have the possibility to try it out 7 minutes later.
So from what you're saying, basically, there are a few levels to the awesomeness of Wikidojo. Not only is it a, a I don't know, a game kind of sort of a game that makes people work collaboratively on an article, which is what we basically do in Wikipedia and other wiki projects, but it also helps you get perspective on the people behind the names, those you usually don't see. As Vassia was saying, we usually edit everybody in their homes while we're in our slippers or PJs, and we don't get to see the other person and their process. So it helps you reflect on really how diverse the community is, how different processes people have, and also learn new stuff, as you said. So these are completely different things that are all coming together into Wikidojo activity. And I think we've discussed it. It could be done with more than 10 people, right? It could be done. Do you want to say something about that?
Yes, it can, but we have to think about how people are going to feel at the end of it, because it can be tiring. So probably if we have a group of more people, then probably it's better to separate them in two groups of 7 to 10 or more groups in this size, because otherwise it can get really hard in the end. The people in the beginning will be more benefited because they will be more refreshed, and the people in the end they would already be very tired.
Mm-hmm.
So not good to have it more than 7 to 10 people in a group. I guess Nikola can add or say something more about the size of the group.
Well, obviously the Wikidojo is fun, and Wikipedians, especially experienced ones, could easily go on for a week. But on the other hand side, even Wikipedians tend to get tired at some point in time, and we think that 1.5 hours is the longest time we can keep our concentration. So there for 10 people and 7 minutes. Of course, one can put 8 people and 10 minutes as a rule or something like that. These 7 minutes come from the classical dojo, from the coding dojo. But anyway, it shall not take more than 2 hours, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's a good point that it's flexible. I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly like this or exactly like that. You can adjust it according to the people that you're having and the amount of people, etc., etc. But let's sum up a few of the cool tips that you've given throughout this interview. And the first one would be to prepare. Meaning, first of all, have a list of articles ready, cool articles that people would actually want to edit, and maybe have some options for them to choose. And then you said the rules have to be very clear, and I think Vassia mentioned in our previous pre pre-interview chat, she mentioned that it's even good to post it on the screen. So maybe if you can share the screen of that cool presentation Vassia was doing with all the rules, so people can see what I'm talking about. And then someone has to facilitate and do a good job facilitating in terms of keeping the time and making sure the audience is not speaking when they're not supposed to, and making sure that there's a good mixture of experienced and newbies working together. Oh yeah, here it is. New ideas. We're going to see it on the screen. So these are the steps, and these are the rules basically of the Wikidojo. And we can all have our own version of it and put it on the wall, and people can see it throughout the whole experience. And I think last but not least, you all said it would be good to have to allocate some time for discussion. So make sure it's not too long. Make sure there's enough time to do something, but not too long, so that everybody is basically involved. And then have an open discussion about it. Anything that I've missed, guys? You're the experts.
I think that you learned your lesson very well.
Thank you, thank you. I had very good teachers, the best actually, the prophet and the expert, right? So I'm going to use Wikidojo for sure the next semester, and I'll keep you posted on how it went. And Nikola, do you want to come back to us so we can say at least a proper goodbye? Oh, here you are. Excellent. So I want to thank both of you, both for the idea and for, I don't know, hanging out with me to talk about what Wikidojo is and how we can all use it in education and even not education, other, I don't know, other wiki parties where we want to connect people. I think that's an awesome way of doing that. So thanks again, and we'll see you on Wiki.
Thank you. See you.
Bye-bye. We're going to
And
there.
don't forget that the dojo is a lot of fun too.
Yes, yes, it has to be fun. Otherwise, it won't last, right? People won't try it out if it wasn't that fun.
Yeah.
So yes, so tell us about your experiences. There's a page on Meta that Nikola showed, and will be posted in the YouTube video notes. So thanks for listening, and let us know how it went for your Wikidojo. And signing out, it's Shani and Nikola and Vassia. See you on the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.